Every single day they refuse to make things right. The debt they owe grows, not just in numbers or currency, but on a spiritual and cosmic level, in ways they will never be able to escape. They thought they were clever, believing that keeping what was rightfully yours would go unnoticed, that the passage of time would bury their betrayal, and that silence or greed could somehow shield them from consequence. Yet, just like interest compounding on an unpaid loan, the numbers have never stopped moving. Their refusal to return what belongs to you has triggered a process of divine multiplication. What they took wasn't merely money or assets. It was your energy, your purpose, your destiny. Now, that energy has been set in motion with a force beyond their understanding. They imagined they could hoard wealth, but what they really amassed was a mountain of spiritual debt, because what they stole was never intended for them. What is meant for you isn't just waiting in some stagnant space, it's growing, expanding, preparing to return in ways that will astonish even you. Every dollar they kept, every inheritance they blocked, every resource they siphoned has multiplied, doubled, tripled, expanded beyond their control, but not for their benefit. It was always destined for you. They believed they were getting ahead, that they could spend, invest, build, and enjoy what was taken. But everything they've constructed stands on a stolen foundation, and now the cracks are appearing. The walls are starting to collapse, and the weight of what they owe has become too heavy to bear. Escape is impossible. The debt must be paid. And when it finally returns to you, it won't just come back as it was. It will be far greater, because divine justice never settles for simple repayment. It always multiplies. Justice isn't some distant promise, it's already unfolding. They thought they'd gotten away with it, that they could take what belonged to you and move on as if nothing happened. But the universal books are being balanced, not by you, not by any court, not by human hands, but by forces far beyond their control. Every person who ever touched your inheritance is now being audited by the divine, and the numbers don't lie. The more they stole, the more they lose. The more they hoarded, the quicker it slips away. The more they resist returning what isn't theirs, the harsher and more rapid their consequences become. At first, they may not see it for what it is. They'll brush it off as a rough patch, bad luck, or a string of unfortunate events. But soon things will begin to unravel. Businesses will fail, money will vanish, unexpected debts will pile up, and misfortune will seem to strike from nowhere. It doesn't end there. Their health begins to decline, stress and mysterious illnesses emerge, and nights become restless, plagued by worry and anxiety. Doctors may find nothing, but they will feel the crushing weight and inescapable pressure of their greed. As they try desperately to hold on to what they took, they'll find their grip slipping, their strength fading, because what wasn't meant for them can never bring them peace. And here lies the great irony. The more they fight to replace what's slipping through their fingers, the faster it disappears. They begin to spiral into complete instability, but you don't have to do a thing. There's no need for revenge, no reason to chase after justice, because justice is already in motion, and this time it's personal. Everything they stole must be returned with interest. They thought they had secured their wealth, that they could hide it, invest it, multiply it, and enjoy it without consequence. But something is clearly wrong. No matter how hard they try to hold on to their money, it keeps slipping away. It defies logic. Businesses that seemed destined to succeed are collapsing. Investments that once looked rock solid are suddenly tanking. Deals that were guaranteed mysteriously fall apart at the last second. It's as if some unseen force is keeping a perfect score, because what they took from you was never truly theirs. The universe operates by an unbreakable law. The books must always balance. At first, they blame the economy, bad luck, or a simple miscalculation. They brush it off as just another minor setback. But the setbacks keep coming. The money never stays. Profits vanish, opportunities fade, and losses keep stacking up. Unexpected expenses arrive one after another. A furnace breaks, a lawsuit emerges from nowhere, a medical bill wipes out their savings overnight. They scramble, desperate to stop the financial bleeding, trying every trick to restore what keeps disappearing. But nothing works, because this isn't just ordinary misfortune. This is a divine correction. The very wealth that once gave them power now turns against them. Instead of security, it brings only anxiety and stress. Instead of freedom, it shackles them to debt. Instead of a strong foundation, it becomes a bottomless sinkhole beneath their feet. They clung to what was stolen, but it was never meant to stay in their hands. Now, bit by bit, dollar by dollar, it's being stripped away, not by your actions or by any act of revenge, but by a law far greater than any of them. The debt must be paid, and the universe is ensuring that payment is collected in full. Everything they built is falling apart. The house they once admired constantly needs repairs. Pipes burst, electrical systems fail. Unexpected damages keep cropping up. No matter how much they fix, something else breaks. Even the car they bought is always in the shop. Breakdowns, engine failures, endless expensive repairs. Businesses they invested in are collapsing one after another. Partners withdraw, profits evaporate, and what was once so promising has become a financial nightmare. It's as if everything they touch now rejects them. Because wealth gained through theft, greed, and deception can never offer real security. They thought they were securing their future, but what they really purchased was debt, loss, and misfortune. Every dollar they stole is turned into a heavy burden, draining their energy and resources instead of lifting them up. It doesn't matter how much they repair, replace, or try to force things to work, nothing lasts. Because what they took was never blessed and never meant to thrive in their hands. They believed they could build a legacy on stolen ground, but the cracks were always there. Now, as they watch their possessions deteriorate, as they pour more and more money into things that refuse to be fixed, as they struggle to maintain the life they thought they secured, the truth finally dawns on them. They didn't just steal money. They inherited a mountain of problems that no amount of repairs or desperate actions can ever truly fix, because what was never meant for them can never be made whole in their hands. Deep down, the universe knows wealth gained dishonestly will never bear good fruit. What should have been their moment of breakthrough becomes nothing more than a dead end. Each door they try to open reveals yet another obstacle, and every risk they take only leads to greater loss. No matter how hard they push, force, or fight to move forward, it's as if something invisible is holding them back. While they wrestle with failure after failure, your path is finally clearing. You don't have to force anything, chase opportunities, or manipulate outcomes. Doors swing open for you. The blessings that were delayed are now returning to their rightful owner. While they were busy hoarding stolen resources, the true wealth was always meant to flow to you. They can't stop it, they can't block it, and they certainly can't reverse it. The harder they try to cling to what doesn't belong to them, the deeper they sink, while you, moving in alignment, continue to rise. This isn't luck, and it's not just coincidence. This is divine order at work, and no stolen fortune can compete with what is destined for you. They told themselves their actions were for the good of the family, that by keeping your inheritance away from you, they were protecting generational wealth, convincing themselves that you didn't deserve it, hadn't earned it, or wouldn't know how to handle it. They twisted their motives, pretending it was all about responsibility when in truth it was pure greed. What they wanted was control and power. They needed to keep the wealth in their own hands and make sure you stayed beneath them, believing this would guarantee their future and security. But instead of getting stronger, they've grown weaker. Their financial stability is falling apart. Their savings are draining away, and their assets are losing value. The very money they tried so hard to protect is slipping through their fingers. Because wealth built on deception always transforms into a curse. They thought they were building a fortress for themselves, but they've created a prison, sealing themselves in so tightly that now even they can't get out. Their desire for control over the family's resources has only led to them watching everything vanish. Unexpected bills, legal trouble, financial instability, setbacks they never saw coming. And as they buckle under the weight of their own greed, you are rising. You were never meant to live in lack, never meant to be kept small or deprived. Now, the universe is restoring everything that was stolen from you. The greatest irony? If they had simply done what was right from the start, they could have preserved their own stability and peace. But now, the very thing they tried to protect is destroying them, because the abundance destined for you will never bring peace to anyone else. Every dollar they kept has multiplied into spiritual debt, and every year they refuse to make amends. Their own losses have doubled. It's too late to stop the consequences now. The walls are closing in, the weight is becoming impossible to bear, and the very foundation they stood on is crumbling beneath them. They see the signs, the financial chaos, the disasters, the slow, steady collapse of everything they built on stolen ground. Yet even now they still resist, still clutch at what was never theirs, still fight to hold on to what is already slipping away. But the longer they cling, the harsher the judgment becomes. What could have been a clean repayment has turned into a full-scale reckoning because karmic debt doesn't just get paid back, it gets multiplied. Now, as their world unravels, they are forced to confront the truth. They weren't just stealing from you, they were stealing from themselves, cutting off their own blessings. And the price they have to pay now is far greater than anything they ever took. Quick pause. Family. If this message is hitting home for you and you want to support this sacred work, you can buy me a coffee. It helps keep this channel flowing with truth, light, and divine clarity. The link's in the description, and drop a number 88 in the comments if you're feeling aligned. Let's keep moving forward. They fought relentlessly to keep what was never meant for them. They hoarded, manipulated, and resisted every opportunity to make things right. Now, the more they fight to hold on, the faster everything slips through their fingers. They believe that keeping your inheritance would make them powerful, that blocking your blessings would somehow secure their own future, and that standing in your way would guarantee their place at the top. But the universe doesn't operate by the logic of greed. It operates by divine law. The moment they chose self-interest over justice, they triggered a powerful divine reversal. The very things they tried so hard to block are now the very forces undoing them. As they spiral downward, you are rising. The energy they tried so hard to suppress is now fueling your progress. Doors that were once shut are swinging wide open. Opportunities are pouring in, and wealth is finally flowing into your life as it was always meant to. The irony is that even those who supported your cause, those who stood by your side, are now experiencing blessings too. Their businesses are thriving, their finances are flourishing, and abundance is manifesting simply because they chose to align with the truth. Meanwhile, those who clung to deception and greed are watching their worlds unravel. Their stability is collapsing, and every desperate attempt to cling to stolen wealth backfires spectacularly. It's as if the universe itself is declaring, what is stolen will never prosper, and what is divinely assigned can never be denied. They believed they were securing their future, but in reality, every selfish choice only accelerated their own downfall. Because you cannot steal destiny, you cannot block what was meant to be, and you cannot outrun divine order. Your elevation was inevitable, and now, so is their decline. Drop a comment. The debt is overdue, if this resonates with you. For those who ignored every warning, the reckoning is now unstoppable. They thought they were winning. They took what was yours, blocked you from what was rightfully meant for you, and betrayed you without a hint of remorse. But betrayal always has a price. They didn't just steal money or inheritance, they severed themselves from divine favor. Now the doors that once opened easily for them are locked tight. The people who once stood with them are turning away. The luck they used to depend on has run dry. They believed they could take from someone chosen and walk away untouched. But they're discovering the hard way, just like Judas, that selling out someone marked by destiny is a guaranteed path to losing your own. One by one, the opportunities they once took for granted are slipping away. Business deals fall apart, partnerships dissolve, and even close relationships turn cold. Because when you betray a chosen one, it's not just a person you're betraying, it's the divine hand guiding them. And now that divine protection has been removed from their life, they're witnessing the collapse of everything they built, not because someone is cursing them or working against them, but because betrayal always carries a spiritual price, and that price must always be paid in full. Now they see with their own eyes how everything is falling apart. Everything they once valued is now turning against them, just as they once turned against you. What they took from you wasn't just material. It was your peace of mind, your sense of trust, your connection to something greater than yourself. Now, in a twist of fate, they are the ones experiencing betrayal on every level. People they once trusted are deceiving them. Partners they depended on are walking away. And loved ones who once stood firmly by their side are now abandoning them. This is the way the universe operates when you betray someone chosen. You don't just lose their favor, you lose the divine favor that covered your own life. No amount of money, no measure of power, no clever strategy can bring back what has already been spiritually revoked. They made their choice, and now they are feeling the full weight of its consequences. They fought, schemed, and pulled every string to block you from receiving what was rightfully yours. They convinced themselves they had won, that keeping your inheritance would mean permanent victory, a legacy secured in their name forever. But what they failed to realize is that your blessings were already sealed long before they ever tried to interfere. No amount of greed, deception, or manipulation can override a spiritual contract. Your inheritance was never just about money or assets. It was a divinely assigned portion, carrying with it a purpose that cannot be overwritten by any human hand. Anything tied to divine purpose cannot be stolen for long, no matter how hard they try. They might attempt to pass it down to their children, hide it in trusts, transfer it through secret bank accounts, or manipulate legal documents to make it seem as though it truly belonged to them. But the truth remains unchangeable. What isn't meant for them will never prosper for them. Instead of bringing them security, their actions now bring only anxiety and stress. Instead of manifesting abundance, they are experiencing continual loss. Instead of building a lasting legacy, all they are creating is ruin. They thought they could rewrite destiny, that they could reroute blessings already marked with your name. But you cannot take what belongs to someone chosen and expect to keep it. At this stage, they are left with only two options: surrender it willingly and make things right, or watch as the universe forcibly removes it from their grasp and delivers it back to you. It might not all happen at once, but it is happening, little by little. One by one, the very things they fought to possess are slipping away, because no one can lay claim to what carries your spiritual identity. What's meant for you is written in higher realms, and it will always find its way home. By the time they come to terms with this truth, they will find themselves empty-handed. In the beginning, there were others, those who chose not to get involved. Some stayed silent, some watched from the sidelines, and some didn't directly steal from you but also never stepped up to defend you. They convinced themselves that neutrality would keep them safe, that minding their own business would protect them from any fallout. They thought as long as they kept their distance, none of this would touch them. But divine justice is far-reaching. It does not distinguish between those who take and those who stand idly by. Now even they can see it. The slow unraveling, the undeniable consequences, the pattern of collapse that follows anyone who touched what wasn't theirs or allowed injustice to stand. Suddenly, those same family members who once defended the guilty parties are quietly stepping back, wanting no part in the mess. Those who once ignored you are watching from a distance, realizing that what's happening is not just punishment, it's a wake-up call. Justice is unfolding before their eyes, and now they're experiencing their own awakening. Because some truths are too powerful to ignore, and no one can escape the reality of divine order once it's set into motion. They are finally waking up to the fact that your family's downfall is not some random twist of fate. It is the direct consequence of their own choices and actions. One by one, they begin to distance themselves from the guilty parties. Some do it out of fear, not wanting to get swept up in the storm that's now brewing all around them. They sense the shift in the atmosphere and are desperate to avoid suffering the same fate. Others step away out of guilt, recognizing that their silence and inaction made them complicit in the injustice done to you. They can no longer deny that they stood on the wrong side of the truth, and now that the consequences have become undeniable, the weight of their complicity grows heavier by the day. Then there are those who are beginning to align with you, waking up to the deception that has been unfolding for years. They finally see the true scope of what was stolen and realize that you were never the problem they were. The stories they believed, the accusations they accepted all begin to unravel. And as they step away from the ones who caused harm, they move closer to you and to the truth. No one wants to remain on a sinking ship. And now that justice is making itself visible in every corner of your family's world, even those who once turned their backs on you are forced to admit what's happening. The lines are being drawn with crystal clarity. Truth is shining through, and those who tried to stay neutral are realizing they can't stay silent any longer. They're waking up to which side they should have chosen from the very start. They tried everything to block your blessings. They stole, they hoarded, they built barriers to keep your inheritance out of your hands. What they never understood was that every act of resistance only fueled your eventual rise. You were never meant to beg for scraps or plead for what is rightfully yours. You were never meant to be at their mercy because your inheritance, your blessings, your destiny were never in their control. Each time they refused you, each act of deception, each time they withheld what was marked for you, they set in motion a spiritual principle they could never undo: divine multiplication. You're not just getting back what was taken from you, you're being given so much more. What should have been a simple return has turned into supernatural compensation. The delays and betrayals only increased your rewards. Every year they kept your blessings from you. Every scheme they plotted only widened your territory and multiplied your favor. The very attempts they made to hold you down have now positioned you for a comeback so profound, so undeniable, that even they will not be able to ignore it. As they watch their world collapse, yours is expanding beyond their imagination. While their fortune diminishes, yours is being restored with interest. As they sink under the weight of their own deception and greed, you are stepping into elevation, into an era of abundance, freedom, and fulfillment that was always destined for you. This isn't just about payback. This is about restoration on a level only the divine can orchestrate. You are walking into everything they said you could never have. Everything they tried to block is now being delivered to you in overflow. This is your moment of elevation, and it is unstoppable. This is divine justice unleashed at full force, an unstoppable tide correcting every wrong and returning balance to your life in ways no one could have predicted. Everything they once clung to, convinced they could hold on to it forever, is now slipping away. Every resource, opportunity, or blessing that they locked away from you is no longer theirs to claim. The universe is orchestrating a shift so profound that your inheritance, your birthright, is being released directly into your hands. Not because you fought, begged, or chased after it, but because it was always written in the higher order of things. Now there's absolutely nothing they can do to reverse or delay what is coming. Their efforts to hold on, their manipulations, their desperate moves to maintain control are all falling apart in real time. This is your season of ascension, your era of restoration, and the manifestation of supernatural favor. And the greatest irony is that they will have no choice but to stand by and watch it all unfold, powerless to stop it, unable to explain it. What's happening now transcends material gain. This is about more than just wealth or possessions. This is the recalibration of justice, the restoration of power, and the re-establishment of balance in your life and in the legacy of those who came before you. Everything that was ever taken from you is not lost. In fact, it was never truly lost at all. The blessings that were delayed are not denied. They have only been waiting, building energy, and compounding in value, ready for this exact moment of release. What was blocked, hindered, or withheld has been quietly accumulating like a river growing behind a dam, gathering force, ready to burst forth and flow into your life at the appointed time. You were never meant to beg for scraps at their table, never intended to be at the mercy of those who tried to keep you small. Even when it felt like you were beneath them, even when it seemed like they held all the cards, you were simply in a season of preparation, a time when the universe was aligning everything for this inevitable breakthrough. Every act of greed, every lie, every attempt to keep you away from your inheritance was, unknowingly, fueling the magnitude of your comeback. Their greed and resistance didn't diminish your blessing, it multiplied it. With every passing year, every obstacle, every deception, the universe was adding interest, compounding your reward and increasing the abundance that would soon be yours. Now, the very weight of their theft and manipulation is coming back to crush them. The foundation they built on dishonesty is collapsing beneath their feet. Their downfall is not your burden to carry, nor is it your responsibility to pursue retribution or seek revenge. You don't need to chase what's already on its way to you. The laws that govern this universe are ensuring that everything meant for you comes back multiplied, returned with interest, restored far beyond the original loss. You can feel this shift in your spirit. The sense of anticipation, the certainty that your time has finally come. Meanwhile, they can feel the loss, the emptiness, the sinking realization that the game is over. This is the moment when everything changes, the moment when you rise from the ashes and stand on solid ground, while they scramble for something, anything to hold on to. The roles have reversed completely. You are moving into a new reality of overflow, peace, and abundance, while they are left to confront the chaos and lack they created for themselves. As this divine justice continues to play out, every eye will see the undeniable truth. When the dust settles and the last fragment of stolen wealth slips away from their grasp, they will be left with a powerful lesson. They were never in control, no matter how hard they tried to convince themselves otherwise. They never had the final say, no matter how many barriers they built or how many documents they forged. The power was never truly in their hands. It was always in yours. What is meant for you will always find its way back to you, no matter how long it takes or how many detours it travels. And as this restoration unfolds, you will see that this journey was about far more than just reclaiming material blessings. It was about stepping fully into your power, about trusting the timing of your life, about recognizing the unshakable value you carry within you. You are not just being restored, you are being elevated, renewed, and positioned to create an even greater legacy. The story ends with your hands open to receive, not just what was taken, but an abundance that only divine justice could orchestrate. And as they watch from the sidelines, they will finally understand what is destined cannot be stopped, and what is written in your spirit will always come to pass. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.